Refrigerant recovery on this 2020 Audi A4 Quattro S line, and I'm going to show you the temperature pressure difference and temperature, how I draw out refrigerant. It lowers the pressure on the system and the temperature is going to drop on the lines. So let's see where we're at right now. We are, where's our temperature at? Why does it show nothing? Okay, we are on. And for some reason it's 56 degrees, but it should be tracking. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I'm on refrigerant. Let's go over to temperature. Right there, line temp. There we go. So our line temperature is at 58 degrees. Let's see if I can get it to zoom in, focus. Okay, well, like usual, the Apple doesn't want to focus. There we go. 58.5 degrees. Now we're going to correlate that. This vehicle has been sitting here, it hasn't been running. 57 psi. So the pressure in the system is 57 psi. Both of these line clamps are taking a temperature of 58.5 degrees. I'm going to turn on the system on the recovery unit to recover the refrigerant out of here. Now remember, usually the bottom line is filled with liquid, the bottom few rows. See where this little port is right here where it's connected? There's actually refrigerant coming out of here. And in these bottom rows is all filled with liquid refrigerant. In the bottom of this receiver dryer, this will be filled with liquid. There's probably liquid up to about this point. There's a little filter in here. And through one of the refrigerant passes, it comes back in several of these rows. Say, let's say an imaginary 10 rows. And there's a little stop off right here. And this vapor with a little bit of liquid refrigerant goes across, and it all stops right here in this little header spot. And where you see this little connector right there, all that narrows down and squirts into the shell of the receiver dryer. And the liquid falls down, the vapor fills up the system, and the oil is with the liquid, and it all goes down and goes through a filter that's right in here. Then it drops to the bottom under here. There's a separator right here. As it goes through the filter, this will be all filled with liquid oil and liquid refrigerant. And then these last, let's say 5 or 6 tubes will all be solid liquid going across the condenser and coming out this liquid line. So the only liquid there is in the system, theoretically in ideal conditions, would be in this bottom part of the receiver and in these subcooling tubes right here. And in theory, this is supposed to be a solid column of liquid going all the way back to the expansion valve. And as you can see, this takes a long route. It goes way out here in the wheel well, out here in the fender. And as you can see, it run all the way back here. This line runs right out here, right under here. It comes out here to this part of the fender, way out here, and then it crosses over. It goes underneath, comes out in here, and as you can see down there, I attach to it right here with the extension that goes down there. So that takes a really long route, and that is filled with liquid. So let's start this. I'm pulling out of the suction side only, so let me make sure I am closed on the high side. I'm open, ready to recover on the yellow hose, going into the recovery unit. And my low side is going to the suction line. And we're gonna start this up, and we're gonna watch this pressure drop, and we're gonna watch this temperature drop, and it's gonna be indicated right here. Let's go. So as you can see, is it dropping? No, it would be nice if I turned it to recover. Now I'm recovering. Now we're seeing it dropping. You see, I'm only pulling out of the suction line. I'm not pulling out of the high side. It's pulling vapor refrigerant out of this port, dropping the pressure in the entire system. And because it's pulling vapor off the top, any liquid that's inside these lines will get cold. And look at it right there. There it goes. It's cooling off. 52 degrees. Come on. 50 degrees. Got it? So that is the liquid that is located in this vapor line. This is the high pressure discharge from the compressor. That line right there. goes into the condenser, and then that fills up and goes up here and shoots across. Then it comes down on the other end and comes across here as a liquid out here. As we can see, we're down to 43 degrees. And if we come up here, it's not correlating because this pressure is dropping faster than this can actually cool. And because this is such a small piece of metal, and out here it's about 58 degrees, 61 degrees, something like that out here, some heat is being input from the ambient close to my sensors, so it doesn't quite match. Now, our liquid has just disappeared in these lines. Check this out. You see the temperature starting to go back up again? So we went as low as 39 degrees, right there. And then we ran out of liquid. There's just vapor now. All the liquid is gone. And now you're gonna see the temperature slowly climb back up. There's 44 degrees, slowly climb back up, because now the ambient temperature of the air is in contact with the aluminum that was just chilled down to 39 degrees. It is actually heating the aluminum because heat travels to cold. So we made this line colder than the surrounding air. So all the heat was rushing towards this aluminum line, trying to heat it back up. It's actually sucking heat out of the air, what you can see by the temperature slowly going back up. So now I could open, now that there's nothing in the system, and I could recover from both sides now. There's no, we're down to -5 on the high side, so now I could open the high side because I'm not gonna pull out any liquid, I'm not gonna pull out any oil. And as you can see, the pressure is dropping, but our temperature is slowly going back up because there's no more liquid in these lines. It is now vapor, and the atmosphere touching the aluminum is now warming it back up, and it'll eventually come back up to 50, whatever the ambient temperature is, 58 degrees. That's the temperature out here, right there. So that's all, just a little demo showing you how when you lower the pressure of refrigerant, the temperature lowers of the refrigerant. But once there's no more liquid refrigerant to do any more work of absorbing heat, then the atmosphere will put heat immediately back to whatever item you chilled down. All right, guys, I'll see you later. We're back up to 46 degrees.